Well, that kind of came out of nowhere.
You fool. Miserable, selfish fool! You killed us all!
Impressive, Arachne. You really were close. A shame that you were too preoccupied with yourself to see it coming.
Beast! You damn beast! He was possessed! Possessed from the start!
Oh no, Arachne. I'm afraid that is only half true.
I can't move.
We reap, but you sow. Of course we possessed you, but you did all the heavy lifting back in Kira when you gave the order to massacre everyone dear to him, including his wife and his poor daughter. And so, it is a happy ending after all, isn't it? Without the Numinos, you have nothing to use the beacon's power on. And the only thing it is good for now is the destruction of your own beloved city. It will be a feast, and there will be nothing left of you once we've devoured you. Nothing but cold, gray flesh. It is just as we said. You have failed as you always have done. What is it, Arachne? Lost your tongue?
No. No. I have not. Not at all. You have just presented me with a solution.
Are you deaf? There is no solution. The cleansing will happen, and you will all die.
Yes. Yes, we will. Your Messiah, the citizens of the city, the armies, we will all burn like the sun. And then it will be over.
You're fantasizing, Arachne. Without...
Not this time.
What? What was that?
Here we must go our separate ways. Believe me, I wish it were otherwise. But in your condition, you would just be a burden. And I cannot afford any risks. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about? What are you planning?
The High Ones are right. We cannot use the beacon to banish them anymore. But do you remember what the Archmagister said? Without the Numinos, the beacon's energy would burst out without direction.
Uh-oh. He wants to set off the nuke.
Cause a massive explosion. Yes. And that is the only thing we can do for mankind now. CohhCarnage was and is essential to the High One's plan. Whatever shape the actual cleansing takes, he wants to make sure it will happen. And we profit. We may have failed in breaking the cycle for ourselves, but not for the others. The other people of this world, Araziel, Kira, Kile, they're affected by the cycle as much as Enderal. And I know that there must be people like us. People who have had the same dreams and feel what is about to happen. And if we kill CohhCarnage and his armies, we buy these people time. Time to gather knowledge. Time to build a new beacon. And time to light it themselves.
So you want to blow up the beacon, but what about the city? What about all the people who will die?
Those whom the Nerimes have not yet massacred anyway, you mean? They will die, as you and I will. But they will do so for mankind's salvation. And this is something worth dying for. It is the only way, don't you see? Either we die here, rotting with the Pyreans, or we choose to give our death meaning by at least stopping this fanatic CohhCarnage and his armies. The High Ones are a lot weaker than they pretend to be. I feel it. We were so close to destroying them. And I have faith in the others out there who will fight them. They will succeed, where this scum Skyrim made us fail. So, a shepherd cannot decide the fate of his sheep. What is this really about, Prophet? Your life? The life of this woman who's so dear to you? Now is not the time for arrogance and selfishness. All of this is about more than just us. That you fail to see this disappoints me, Prophet. I thought better of you than that. But it does not matter anymore.
Wow,
I've made my choice.
rude.
I'm sorry.
Apparently I can't move. I'm toast. Huh.
It all begins with the dreams. Breathe.
What? Fleshless. What?
Enter the mind of a High One? I hope you're joking. This was their last stand. They are afraid of us. I feel it. You've killed us! You've killed us all! You have just shown me the solution.
This all happened in the other worlds too? Man, this game is deep. I love this shit. This is awesome. This is like... What? Where are we? What? What is this thing?
No. This is impossible.
Who are you? What is this place?
Why are you here? Be gone, Phantom. Be gone and leave me to my slumber.
Phantom, what in blazes are you talking about? What's the meaning of this?
Then this isn't a dream. You really are here. But why? The Prophet dies when the Emperor leaves him. This is the course of the game. It has always been so. Explain yourself. How did you find this place? And why do you still exist?
The veiled woman, she healed me and opened a portal.
Her? But why? She does not have a mind. She does not have feelings. So why should she do this? But still you speak the truth. I can
There's a
feel
body
it.
right there. You can see him.
Then could it really be that the unlikeliest of all eventualities has become reality and brought you here?
The unlikeliest of all eventualities. Are you saying that my being here is a coincidence?
Coincidence or caprice, I do not know. The veiled woman cannot be understood.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Who are you? What are you?
I am sorry. It's been too long since I've spoken to anyone. I have had many names. The Arcarians called me the God of Death. The Moonskin people, the Warden of Dreams. The Pyreans, and the Demon of the Deep. For your people I am, or
or was, the Black Guardian. Pompous names, I know. However, I am none of these, neither god nor demon. I am only an eye, condemned to observe again and again.
You know the Pyreans? By the gods, how old are you?
As you measure time, older than your most daring chronicles go back, by far. I have seen them all, since our people fell. Every civilization, every cleansing, every turn of the cycle.
Then you somehow survived the cleansing of your civilization? Are you one of the ancient starlings?
What? No. The starlings came long after me. I was only a fool who wanted to save his own skin at any cost. I knew the cleansing would come. I had known it long before the Red Madness and the war started. But I also knew that fighting it as my people did, and as most do, was pointless. So I looked for another way to prevail. And I found it. What you see here is the result. The Goliath, as I like to call it back then.
What exactly is it?
What is it? My self-dug grave. What it was meant to be was a body of steel, an immortal machine with which I planned to merge my consciousness. Only organic life could be reaped by the High Ones, and I thought that by becoming a machine, I could fool them. By the name of the sun, how brilliant I thought myself. I wanted to become a god, laughing in the face of time. But let me spare you my self-pity. What happened, happened.
So you plan to outlive your own people to what point? Living in a dead world?
No. Joining the Goliath meant immortality. All I had to do was sleep and awaken once more when the cycle started again, and new life came forth. Except that this new life would not have been defenseless. I would have been a true god to them. One capable of protecting them from the High Ones. No imaginary figure like the Creator. No false gods like the Lightborn were, to speak in your language.
But your plan didn't work. You built this machine, became it, and survived the cleansing?
As the only one of my people, yes. But it happened faster than it should have. And when the cleansing occurred, the Goliath was not yet finished. And as the Emperor unleashed the light, I had no choice but to complete the joining too early. A fatal error, as it turned out. I did survive, yes. But I am trapped inside this unfinished machine. And ever since then, all I can do is watch. Again and again.
What do you mean you can only watch? We are thousands of leagues into the deep here, aren't we?
Yes. But a part of the Goliath is the eye. It allows me to see what happens on the surface everywhere. Not as literal as you imagine, of course. I see schemes, feel emotions, similar to your gift, to the Echo. But they are enough to understand.
To be clear, you have been here since the High Ones devoured your people.
Yes. It was not how I planned it. The Goliath in its final form was meant to be divine. A synthesis of man and steel. But I overestimated myself. And I acted too quickly, driven by fear.
We haven't lost yet. Whether the High Ones are triumphant or not depend on what happens after Arenthal was blown up by the beacon.
No, you do not understand. You are stumbling through the fog, even now that it is almost over. By themselves, the High Ones are not the problem. If we would just see them as they really are, they would become powerless.
Powerless?
Yes. It is hard to put into words. I myself do not know everything about the High Ones. Only that they are part of something we call the cycle. The civilization arises and blossoms, and then, always at the same stage of their development, the High Ones appear, and with them, the Red Madness. People start losing their minds, wars erupt, and chaos rules. Until 2 or 3 years later, the cleansing happens. The moment when the High Ones devour the collective consciousness, the gathered minds of this civilization, to give birth to a new one of their own. Despite all of this, nobody knows what drives them. Perhaps they act out of malice, out of an urge to survive, or perhaps they do not even have a will of their own, but are like a force of nature. But I do know one thing, as powerful as they might be, it is mankind who gives them that power. We make them into what they are, because what nobody understands is simply this. The High Ones feed on what humanity has the most of. Their ego, greed, pride, fear, and their everlasting search for an enemy who is responsible for all their misery. It is those traits the High Ones make use of. These characteristics are what make us human. And by themselves, they are harmless. Only when we bury them, when we deny them, then they play into the High Ones' hands. So why is this, you ask? It is simple. The High Ones alone cannot make the cleansing happen. Only a human can. With the beacon. My knowledge about it is as limited as my knowledge about the cycle. It has existed since the beginning of time, and despite what you might now believe, the ancient writings about it are true. Lit by the ones who carry the Numenos, it can banish the High Ones once and for all. But it can also destroy us. Because what happens when it is lit without a core is far more than an explosion. It is the cleansing, the triumph of the High Ones.
Yep, we called it.
And even as we speak, a human, Tealor Orinthiol, has done it again. A bright light will appear from the heart of the machine and open a hole in the sky. And within hours, it will spread throughout the world, and they will all feel it. A fire that burns them from within. A white light which will break through their flesh. Do you understand now? The High Ones have no power. All they do is to feed on our weaknesses, manipulate us into bringing about our own destruction. It is we who forge the sword that kills us. We who lead them to their victory. Even though the key to salvation has always been in our hands. But instead of realizing our folly, we make the same mistake. We repeat the same fate over and over. And only because we refuse to see the truth. Yes, the High Ones are our enemy. But who wants to hear that it is our ego, that dark voice within us, that empowers them? It is so ironic. The moment we would realize all this would be the moment it all came to an end. But we do not.